What up, you beauties? You know, I'm kind of looking up to you today because it just happened to be the angle that I thought made the most sense in terms of showing you how to wax on and wax off like Mr. Miyagi. Let's get right to it. So, I'm doing skis today because they're kind of the more difficult one in terms of more difficult. You need elastics to hold the brakes up, which are these lovely guys here. That way they're out of your way when you're waxing and you don't have to fight around them. So I'm using like actual ski elastics, but hint hint nudge nudge, you could use the elastics you get with your broccoli. So eat your vegetables, okay? You need an iron, which are these guys here, and it has to be a flat base. I'm gonna warm it up because it's currently off. But in terms of materials you do need a wax iron, which like I just said, it's a smooth base. So you're gonna wanna make sure you're not using the one you use for your clothes. You're gonna want a little brush if you wanna get bougie. A scraper, what you kinda need if you wanna be bougie. All you really need is some lovely wax. And this is what I'm gonna be using here, which is your general use wax for a multiple of purposes. It's effectively like your middle of the range in terms of temperatures. So I'm gonna let the iron heat up and then we'll get into it. And while that's happening, I'm actually gonna bring you guys a little closer to my skis so you can see. Now, at least hopefully see. If you look here on the base, I don't know how well this is actually gonna focus because of the lovely well-lit garage, but if you look at the base here, it does not look any different. Never mind. Effectively what you'll notice is on the edges there'll be kind of a grayish section. That's when your base is getting dry and needs some hydration, but in this case known as wax. Okay, the iron is ready to go and it's time to spread wax on the ski. So if I hold the wax next to this iron for a little bit, it comes off as drops, which I'm sure you guys can see from there, at least I hope so. But basically what we're going to be doing is making kind of like an S the whole way down the ski with the drops of wax so that it covers the width of it and we go the whole length. And then once you've done the spread the whole way down, you heat it back up again, just to spread it out slowly. You're not pressing into it at all. You're straight up letting the weight of the iron push into the ski, as if I can just use my fingertips. I'm legitimately not pressing it at all. You want to keep it moving because you don't want to be in one area for too long. You don't want the iron to heat all the way through the base of the ski to the top sheet. That's just going to create the possibility of damaging it. But you just want to spread the wax on there the whole way down. Tip the tail like I said, giving it a nice even spread. So once you're done that, you can do a whole pass slowly, but with some pace, so that's just heating it up and bringing it through as one fluid motion. I'm gonna do the other one. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so the skis are waxed. They just need to cool for a bit before we scrape them, so we're not taking pieces of the base off as well. When you're done with your iron and it's off, you want to ensure you store it like this. Not like that, because it will melt whatever it's on. Maybe not everything, but it's gonna make something burn. So make sure you're standing it up. Alright, so it's now cooled for a few minutes. So you're gonna take our scraper and scrape off the excess wax, which should not be too much of, really, because I don't put too much extra on, but you're just coming down in some nice longer motions to scrape it off. Now I'll be honest, for me, that's really all I usually do. Sometimes I don't even scrape them, but we're gonna do the whole thing anyway. So after you do that, that's when your nylon brush comes into play to take off the excess that's kind of within the pores, if you will, of the ski. The reason we're scraping it off, especially when it's done with an iron, is because it heats up the base to open up the pores, and we let it cool so it recloses. You scrape the excess off, and then you brush the excess off. But I'm not kidding, I usually just wax them and send it, as opposed to waxing them, scraping them, brushing them. It comes off with the snow. But anyways, Ta-da! New skis. And we're on to the rear roof rack. So as I'm just aligning it here, I'm actually aligning it with my rear windows. And the foot kit, or basically the contact point for the roof rack to your vehicle, will change depending obviously on the car that you're driving. So for mine, I basically just use the tool that the roof racks come with just to ensure that the spacing's equal on both sides. And once it is equal, I start tightening them down. And with regards to tightening, the casing for the tool, or the outer shell of it if you will, is gray as you can see. And what we're doing is we're just torquing it to ensure that the green part in the middle is just touching. One down, one to go. Now the lighting for the front one should be a little bit better. And again, I'm sorry. And that's that. I will see you guys next week on the slopes. But what's going down? Are we snowboarding? Are we skiing? Are we snowboarding? Are we skiing? Time will tell. You guys take care. I'll see you soon.